and the kind of job she does, and she's going to present us the amazing things that she has done at her current job and in her whole experience. We have a schedule for today, and we will have the words of Bruce Callow, but for technical issues and because he's a little bit late, he's gonna give his words after Sun's presentation. But
hi, Natalia. Sorry,
oh, you're
I'm
here.
Okay,
cool.
Hi, Bruce.
So we're gonna have Bruce giving us some words and explaining some things. So I'm really happy to give the stage to him. So welcome, Bruce.
Well, thank you, Natalia, and thanks to the group, your group, for organizing this. It's a great moment to be able to learn from one of Voyager's veteran engineers. It's a project that I've been following since I was 12 years old. Voyager launched, the Voyager spacecraft both launched in 1977 when I was 12 years old. So you can imagine now that I'm 55 and Voyager is outside of the solar system, it's
we cannot hear you. You got muted. Like,
sorry. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Did you hear any of what I said, or should I start again, Natalia?
No, we actually heard until you said that you're 55 now and that it's a lot of
yeah. Well, you know, that's part of you know, being alive throughout these decades, and to see the space mission being so successful. And there's a difference between science and science fiction, but the Voyager mission has brought those things together. And so I'm really, really looking forward to hearing Sun speak, and it's going to be a really, really amazing opportunity. So thank you, Sun, there in California, for speaking today. And to everyone who's here today, I'm sure it's going to be amazing.
Thank you, Bruce. Well, as you already may know, we are here just to listen to Kang Matsumoto. She is currently a fault protection and flight software system engineer and system lead for the real-time commanding for the Voyager project. Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Previously, she was a software and fault protection system engineer for NASA Solar Electric Propulsion Technology. Applications Readiness NSTAR. It's a project at JPL. She received a master's in computer information systems from Claremont Graduate School in Claremont, California, and a bachelor's degree in computer science from University in Texas at El Paso, Texas. She authored a conference publication, Voyager Interstellar Mission Challenges of Flying a Very Old Spacecraft on Very Long Mission for Spacecraft 2016. Also co-authored a conference publication, Operations Challenges for Missions with Significant Round-Trip Flight Times, with New Horizons engineers at Johns Hopkins University Applied Physics Lab in Maryland for Spacecraft 2010. So we're really excited to hear you, and I'm gonna give you the word now. So thank you.
Well, thanks for introduction. Thanks for nice the word about me. Okay, today I'm going to talk about Voyager Interstellar Mission, VIM for short. And my name is Kang Matsumoto. I'm from Korea, but I married to Japanese American, so that's how I got name Matsumoto. Okay, so from now on, I'm just going to say VIM for Voyager Interstellar Mission. And I'm going to go to the next page. It shows the Voyager mission summary in timeline. And the top part applies to Voyager 1, and the bottom half is for Voyager 2. And as you can see from this picture, Voyager 1 was launched actually later, 2 weeks later than Voyager 1. So Voyager 1 was launched later, but it was placed on a faster trajectory. So it it flew by Jupiter before Voyager 2. So in March of 1979, it flew by Jupiter, and then Voyager 2 followed 4 months later, and Saturn in 1980 for Voyager 1 and 1981 for Voyager 2. And after that, planetary encounters were over for Voyager 1, but Voyager 2 also flew by Uranus in January of 1986, and the Neptune in 1989. And that's the end of the prime mission. And Voyager interstellar mission started on January 1st of 1990 for both Voyagers. After the prime mission, all the cameras were turned off because cameras take relatively a lot of power, and we lose power every year, so we have to do something like turn off some things. And also there are not too many things to take picture of in space. But on Valentine's Day of 1990, the cameras were turned on for Voyager 1 and took the picture last time. And it's known as a portrait of the solar system. So the Voyager 1 looked back and took a picture of Earth and the other planets. And then Voyager 1 is flying very fast, about 3.6 AU a year. AU is astronomical unit, and that's the distance between Earth and Sun. So on February of 1998, Voyager 1 became the most distant human-made objects still working. And then Voyager 1 crossed the termination shock in December of 2004 and crossed the heliopause boundary and went into interstellar space in August 2012. And then there's a really historical moment because that happened the first time in human history. And the Voyager 2 flies fast, but a little bit slower than Voyager 1. And we had to change the trajectory to fly by Uranus and Neptune. So Voyager 2 is flying about 3.2 AU a year. Voyager 2 also crossed the termination shock in August of 2007. And recently, in November 2018, the Voyager 2 also crossed the heliopause and went into interstellar space. Okay, the next chart, this one shows general location of Voyagers, and then the one here is Voyager 1, which is a little bit further from this yellow dot is the sun, our sun, and then that's the termination shock, and that's the heliopause, that bubble, and Voyager 2 is a little bit closer to us, but still it's outside of the heliopause. And round trip distance, I mentioned that 1 AU is the distance between Earth and Sun, and the Voyager 1 is very far. It's about 150 AU, so that's 150 times of distance between Sun and Earth. And because it's so far, it takes a long time for signal to travel to spacecraft and coming back, and that's known as a round trip lifetime. And for Voyager 1, it's more than 41 hours. So if we send something, we don't know if it works until 41 hours and 11 minutes later, and that increases as the Voyager flies away from us. Next chart is this distance in AU and the round trip lifetime for important milestones like Jupiter encounter, Saturn and Uranus and Neptune encounter. And for example, at Jupiter encounter, it was about 5.3 AU and the round trip lifetime was a little over 1 hour. But now in June of 2020, they are about 150 AU and the round trip lifetime is more than 41 hours. And the end of 2025, that's when we say it's the end of Voyager missions. And distance would be about 170 AUs, and the round trip lifetime would be about 48 hours. So just to give you some perspective, there are a lot of Mars missions, and the round trip lifetime to Mars missions usually are about 8 minutes to 48 minutes. So you can guess the distance, how far Voyagers are. Okay, this is a picture of a Voyager spacecraft, and you might have seen this in Wikipedia, some other publications. I got this from Wikipedia actually, and I like to just point out a few key features. This is the scan platform, and we have some instruments like cameras, and then it's a movable. That means we can send the command to change the position of instruments while spacecraft is still looking at Earth, so we can communicate. And then this is a high gain antenna, so we can communicate to spacecraft. And this is called the bay. And all the electronics like the computers are in this bay. And I like to mention just one other feature. It's this dark in the center of the bottom, and that's called the RTG, radioisotope thermal electric generator, and that's how spacecraft generates power and the supply to the other units so we can operate. Okay, now talking about the spacecraft and technology. Voyager is a 1975 technology, and that's, you know, it's a iPhone 5. It's a picture of iPhone 5 and around 2013. And the Voyager 1 and 2, they have a 64K of memory. And for comparison, iPhone 5, sorry, that's my phone. Sorry about that. iPhone. Oh. Sorry, iPhone 5 has a, which is about 2013 technology, and it has a 16 gigabytes of memory, and that's about 240,000 times more than Voyager, the memories on the Voyager, all 3 computers. But it sounds really old, but at the time, Voyagers was state-of-the-art technology. We have a Voyager's first spacecraft with the autonomous fall protection. So if there are any major falls, the spacecraft is programmed to respond to that automatically, and that really helps today. And also Voyager used radiation hardened parts for the first time. To give you some perspective, you know, everybody probably too young to remember what happened in 1977, but just for comparison, I heard that Apple II computer, if anybody remember, was launched, and the first Star Wars movie was out. Okay, for the beam, next chart for beam science instruments. Currently, we have 5 instruments: magnetic field instrument, low energy charged particles instrument, cosmic ray, and the plasma wave instruments. And the plasma instrument is working only on Voyager 2 because that on Voyager 1 is failed. We started with the 10 instruments, and we had 11 experiments if we include the radio science, but some of them, we powered them off after the encounter, and 2 instruments were powered off during the beam because of the power. For the latest news, Voyager 2 crossed the heliopause in November 2018, and the Voyager 1 crossed in August 2012, and that was a really historical moment because it happened the first time in, these are the only probes in the region, in the part of the universe for decades to come. And starting last July, we starting to power down science instrument heaters on Voyager 2. And we always turn off the heater first, and then try to keep the instrument on, hoping that instrument works without its heaters. So that way we can extend the mission a little bit longer. And you might wonder why we do that for Voyager 2. That's because we have one more instrument on Voyager 2, so we need more power, and we gotta start doing that for Voyager 1 also. And the mission continues until 2025, and then hopefully beyond. And with a definite dose of good luck, we hope to celebrate 50th launch anniversary in 2027. We have a lot of challenges because these are very old spacecraft, and they have been flying for a very long time. And the biggest challenge overall is increasing distance between the spacecraft and Earth. And then also hardwares are aging due to degradations and failures. And diminishing resources, we lose power about 4 watts every year. So that's the reason that we have to turn off the instruments. And as we do that, the spacecraft is getting colder, so we have to compensate we have to balance the thermal and the power. And the deep space network is also a huge resource. And as they get further, we need more DSM power. So we gotta use a 70-meter antenna, or we gotta put the 34-meter antennas together. And there are 3 70-meter antennas. There are 3 DSM complexes, one in Goldstone and one in Spain and one in Australia, Canberra. And the Canberra is the only location that can communicate to Voyager 2 because of where the Voyager 2 spacecraft is. And the DSS-43 with the large 70-meter antenna is the only one that commands the Voyager 2. I don't know if any of you heard that the DSS-43 70-meter antenna is in long-term maintenance. So starting March of this year, we cannot command, although we can receive telemetry using the 2 34-meter antennas. And then we will not be able to command until January of 2021. That's when the 70-meter antenna is scheduled to be back in operations. And then because it's all in it's all the old project and the disappearing knowledge, like people are getting old and retires, and we don't have a good documentation, and there are other challenges as well. And then also for flight software, we don't have a test bed. We had a test bed in the prime mission, but they were so old and keep breaking, and we don't have a test bed in VIM. And also I mentioned about the limited memory. And also the programming language you use is very antiquated. We still use assembly, and not too many people understand that. So how do we meet challenges? For the distance, we array antennas. We gotta have a 70-meter for uplink. To send the command, we gotta have a 70-meter. And to receive a downlink, we need to have a 70-meter, or we gotta put the 3 antennas for Voyager 1 and the 2 34-meter antennas together to receive just 160 bits of a downlink. That's regular normal cruise data. And the 10 bits is engineering, and the other 150 bits for science. And then we still record some data for one of the instruments, and then we have to play back. And in order to play back, we got already 70-meter plus 3 34-meter antennas just to receive that 1400 bits per second playback. And that's taking up the whole complex. So it is very challenging. We used to have like 6 playbacks a year, but we are reduced to 2, and then maybe more if a scientist sees something interesting because of these resource reasons. And for the hardware issues, we switch to backup hardware whenever possible, and reprogram onboard the flight software. But I mentioned that we don't have a test bed, and it's risky to make any changes without the simulators, and we only have a simulator for one of the 3 computers. CCS, that's the computer that I'm working on. So actually we are using only 1/3 of memories for reprogramming. The others, we have instructions and the programs, but it's hard to make any changes. And then to address the power, we power off science instruments and the heaters gradually, heaters first again, and then eventually we have to turn off instruments as well. And then we try to archive documents electronically as much as possible. And right now we don't have that many people. We only have about 12 people. It's very small crew, but we try to cross-train engineers as much as possible. And then to develop tools. For example, we developed the desktop thermal modeling tool to monitor the temperature around the hydrogen lines, because if they get too cold, then we could lose the spacecraft. And then ground software is always getting better because it's something that we can do here. So that is a big help. Okay, for conclusions, flying a very old spacecraft for a very long mission presents a great number of challenges, but it comes with even greater rewards. These are the spacecraft. These are the only spacecraft in that part of the universe, and for the long time. I'm not aware of any other spacecraft that plan to be sent to that part of the universe. So the flight team, we are always looking for implementing changes and adapting to new environment with its trusted 64K memory, but actually, we can only reprogram 1/3 of that memory in practical purpose, because we don't have a simulator for the others, and it's too risky to make any flight software changes without simulators. We are always on a lookout for enhancement to keep the spacecraft going strong and extend this mission until 2025 and hopefully beyond. For future, Voyager spacecraft will stop communicating to us when they run out of power, but the spacecraft will continue the journey. And the picture down here is called a golden record, and some of you might have heard that. It carries a message from Earth in golden record. It carries 115 images and 90-minute audio, includes the sounds of Earth, music, and the 55 greetings. And then this is just the GWiz facts. I just included just for just to show how far the space universe is and how little how small we are. In the year 40,000 to 72 AD, Voyager 1 will come within 17 light years of Little Dippers. That's how far it kind of gives a glimpse of how far the universe is. Okay, so if anybody have any questions or informations, I listed the Voyager homepage, and there are a lot of pictures and videos and reading materials. And if anybody has a questions, if you leave a question for us, and we actually try to read and answer those questions. And for the other missions at JPL or some other information on Voyager, there's a homepage for JPL. And I look at the questions, and some of them were about careers and the jobs and internships. So I included also a website for those informations. That is all I have. But I just have a couple of pictures. I'll just show them real fast. This is the launch, like when the Voyagers were launched. This is all photo, all picture, but it shows our planets, and then the termination shock. And this is the solar system family portrait that the Voyager 1 took for the last time. And this one is pale blue dot, and that little white dot, that's us. To borrow Carl Sagan's words, everybody we ever known, or everybody we ever will know, they are living in this little dot. That makes me feeling humble. Okay, I'm done.
Thank you. It was really interesting. So we're going to the Q&A
Okay.
segment. That is.
So I'm going
the
to stop
questions.
share then. You want me to share the document? Stop share
Sure.
document?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go through the questions we had in the subscription form that people submitted before. So the first question says, what motivated you the most to participate in a project with such a scale?
Well, you know, when I first got a job at JPL, I didn't really know what Voyagers were, and actually I didn't even know what JPL was when I was in college and I was going through the job interviews. But once I got here, it was really unique and it was very different. And there are a lot of people who are so into the space programs and they are so passionate, and just being around them was really infectious. So, you know, like when I was in school in Korea, I remember seeing the pictures of other planets, Jupiter, Saturn, and then later on when I was working at JPL, I realized that they were taken by the Voyager spacecraft, and that was really cool. And, you know, like just the thinking that we are rewriting the history, the science books is really, I'm very proud of the fact. And then I have two boys, and they asked me to come talk to their peers on during the Korea Day. And then that's the proudest moment in my working life. So it's with the people who really believe in what they're doing that makes me really motivated.
It's amazing. The second question says, what would you recommend to students who aspire to a huge position like yours?
Yeah, I don't think there's a one answer for everyone because everybody is different. But in my case, study hard and never give up. And you know, for me, because they told me I can only speak for myself, learning English was very important because I had to learn English, and being able to communicate where the verbally and the written is very important. So I think it applies to everybody. Either you are in Costa Rica or in Korea or anybody. I think you dream big and you work hard and um, the good at what you are doing.
Next one says, what skills do you possess that other people don't that allowed you to participate in this project?
I graduated in 1984 with a degree in computer science. And back then, there are not too many people who were skilled in computer science. So it was a really good field to get in at the time. And if you have a degree with a good GPA, and there were a lot of job opportunities back then. So I think I graduated at a good time because there were a huge demand in computer science. And even now, it seems like a computer science seems to be a good field to get in.
True. Which programming languages or software technologies are used in JPL or in this specific mission?
Okay, for us, for Voyager, we use assembly, and probably not too many people know what that is because it's so old, but it's like those machine languages. So we have a set of instructions. So you gotta load content from some word, and you gotta load it into accumulator, and then like do the computation by shift left or shift right, and then compare with some other registers and store this. It's really antique. And then for the CCS, that's my subsystem, the computer command, computer control subsystem. We have something special called the pseudocode, and it gives a little more structure, but still it's very cryptic compared to today's languages. But I think the other projects, they use more modern languages like C++, but this is 1970s, right? And we have so little memory. So assembly is good when memory is very limited.
Nice. As a software engineer, which technical skills do you consider most transferable among all the projects you have worked on?
Well, at JPL or at a place like NASA, I think STEM is a very, very good. It's very marketable for my experience and just to see what I'm around me. The science, technology, engineering, and the math, they seem to be very, very good, very marketable for jobs like JPL or NASA. But then also they told me, I have to be careful, so don't mislead anybody. So, and then for my own experience, I think the communication is very important. Being able to speak and write well in organized manner, it's always very important whatever project you are, because it doesn't matter how good your idea is, you would be able to explain to others, and you need to listen to other people's ideas and understand, and you can debate and you can persuade the other people. So I think the communication skills is always important.
Have you experienced any particular challenges in your career for being a woman in science? Traditionally, this field is mostly with male representation. How has this affected?
Well, when I first started in 1985, there were very little, not that many engineers not too many women in engineering. The women at that time were mostly in like the administrative field, and some male engineers didn't take women too seriously. Didn't maybe some of them, not all of them, of course, but some maybe didn't think that the woman can smart or can be smarter. But they changed a lot over the years, and now we have a lot of women engineers, women scientists, women managers, and I had to try hard in the beginning, and I had to try hard to prove myself and speak up for myself, and it made me strong. And I cannot just give up. But it's a different environment, and the women have just as equal opportunity as the men, almost, I think.
Yeah. What are some recommendations for new graduates in the fields of science joining the workforce?
This is a top one. I think it's tough everywhere, not just the Costa Rica or Korea or United States. I think this right now is the typical top time, but I think it's gonna get better. And like my youngest son, he is in college. He graduated, but he has degree in liberal art, but he's studying a master's degree in computer science. But I think I'm telling him the same thing, that he should look at the companies that he would like to get employment, and then go their website and then see what jobs are advertised, and look at the qualification they are looking for, and be flexible and be diligent, and look out what's happening in the job market.
Yep.
I think I think that's everywhere.
Yeah, I think so too.
Nadia, sorry, sorry to interrupt. Is it possible for a son to have her video at all, or can we see her, or is there a problem with her video?
Oh, I didn't know. I was.
It would be great if we could.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. I didn't know I was not in the video. Oh, sorry. You should have said it earlier. Huh?
Yeah, I'm sorry we couldn't see you the whole time.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I even borrowed these backdrops from work.
There we go.
But we can see it now. That's good.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I didn't set it up right.
Okay. So it says, how competitive is your field or the environment where you are developing?
I think it's a competitive, but I think there are a lot of other or even more competitive fields. So that's kind of hard to answer. I think it is a competitive, but I think there are a lot of other fields equally or like even more competitive.
Have you ever felt like the pressure of the field, like for yourself, like comparing yourself with other people?
Well, in the beginning when I first got a job, I had a little insecurity, and I was comparing myself to others and other male engineers. Maybe they didn't think I could do the job. But over the years, if you work hard and you are honest and you are reliable and you respect others and you gain the respect from others. So now I'm very comfortable. But like I've been here for a long time. So I think when you first starting, it's something that a lot of us work it out. A lot of us have to work it out.
Cool. Do you consider any other careers with greater demand and less competition? Well, I think it's related with the answer.
I don't know, but at JPL we have a lot of those STEM opportunities, but there are other jobs. There are other jobs, but I don't know. I don't know how competitive with other jobs. I listed that website, so maybe you can, go the website and see what's being advertised and see the skills and the qualifications that they are looking for.
Do you consider everyone has the same opportunity to work in JPL independently from their gender or their status?
In the beginning, I think it was difficult. Being a woman had a lot of, I felt like there were more challenges, but over the years, it changed a lot, and JPL and the NASA, they tried hard to give more diversity, and I love working at JPL because it's very diverse. We have people from all over the world, and everybody has a different background, and we can work wonderfully. So right now, I think the women have just as good opportunity as men if you work hard and if you are good at what you are doing and if you get respect from others. And there are a lot of women managers, like the increasing on the women getting the management field.
What are some of the biggest challenges related to software maintenance for old systems such as Voyager, given that our development systems are constantly updated here in Earth?
Well, we have a very little memory, so that is a big challenge. And we also don't have a test bed, so we cannot really test. And that's the reason that we only use one of the computers for making changes of the software. So, and then also another thing is the language is very cryptic, and we don't have any structures. And because the memory is a little, programmers did really spaghetti code to be efficient in terms of memory. So it's very difficult. And for example, we have a tape recorder. It's just like that, like a little cassette tape. I don't know if you know, but we used to have those in olden days. And we still have those on board the Voyager for recording the science data. And then when then that's the data we play back. And if we want to make any changes, we only know one guy, and he's retired, but he's a consultant, and we gotta ask him if we want to make any changes to the routine because nobody knows how to do it. So that's the challenge of being on all project for so many years.
What literature would you recommend on fault protection systems, like books or papers?
Actually, there are a lot. If you Google, you probably find tons of them. And I have some that I can maybe send you email to you later. We have a publication, the conference publications, and I'll just send some after this. I'll email it to you.
Yeah, you can send it to us and we can share it with all the participants.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
About artificial intelligence, do you think there is a possibility to operate a system using AI and perform better than a human?
I think sometime in the future, yes, I think so, but not right now. I don't know when. That'll be really exciting when that happens. But once spacecraft leaves Earth, it's very limited what we can do. So we always gotta use the technology, proven technology, and we have to use something that reliability is proven. So I think it's going to be always lagging the industry, but I think eventually we will have AI, and that would be really exciting, I think.
It says, how will Voyager leaving the heliosphere affect its systems or performance?
They are in the unknown territory, and we are seeing some type of failures even more often, and that's the Voyagers the computers are interrupt-driven processors, and then we see more problems in that interrupt processing areas, and then if that happens, it's a big deal for us because a lot of ongoing activities is stopped, and we gotta restart from the ground. We gotta restart software that was going on from the ground, so it's a lot of work. But we don't know if that's because they are in the interstellar space, or it's because the hardware is aging. If we have this problem during the prime mission, and then they would have a Tiger team and the investigation team, and they would try to resolve it. But now we have a very limited crew, so we can only do so much. So I guess the answer is I don't really know. We just guess.
Yeah, and it says, did you move from Korea to the US through a scholarship to study, or how did you do it? And if you know if you know some tips to get a scholarship from an international student.
I don't know any scholarships. I'm not aware of any. And I actually immigrated to US after I finished the high school in Korea. So although I had to learn English, I was already here. And then I went to college before I got a job. I look at the website that I included just before this, and it says there are limited internship opportunities for foreign the people in other countries. So maybe you can look at it and see if that is helpful. And maybe, I don't know, maybe you can find somebody in that field in your area, and then maybe try to network.
Yeah. Well, we have some questions here in the chat, so I'm gonna ask them. It says, what soft skills are necessary to work in aerospace?
To work in aerospace, I think STEM is important. That's science, technology, engineering, and math. And for places like JPL and any other NASA centers, I think that's important. And most of our internships tend to be in those areas. But there are other jobs and other internships, but probably less. And currently, it seems like Python is very popular, but maybe that's maybe industry also.
Mm-hmm. So how did you feel about leaving Korea behind for this adventure? Did you miss your family?
Well, now I'm here for so long that I feel like I'm more comfortable here. But yeah, it was hard, but I was young and invincible. But one of my sisters was here, so I stayed with my sister, so it wasn't so bad. But I was young and I wanted to do something new, and I wanted to experience a different world.
Yeah. And the last one that we have here is, when will Voyager 1 leave Sun SOI? Or sorry.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the last part.
When will Voyager 1 leave Sun SOI? It's like I don't know if it is SOI or SOI. A sphere of influence. Thank you.
Well, the heliosphere, Voyager already crossed the boundary, and then they are like one of the pictures I showed you. We had a circle, there's a termination shark, and we had something like this. That's a heliosheath, and that's created by the solar wind, and then the interstellar wind coming from the other side. But the Voyager already crossed those. Voyager 1 crossed that boundary in 2012, and Voyager 2 crossed 2018 recently.
Great. So yeah, that was the last question we had. And we are really thankful, Sun, because you give us your time to answer all these questions and to let us learn more about your experience and your job. And we're really inspired by you. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And if you have any questions on Voyager, and you can give those questions to Bruce, and he's gonna relay that to us, or you can leave them in Voyager homepage, because we do have a box that the people can leave questions, and we honestly try to answer those. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
No, thank you. And may I ask one final question, Sun, please?
Sure.
Why do you think the hardware that was built into the Voyager probes has lasted so long after decades and decades and all the discoveries, and now you're the first interstellar mission? How is that possible?
I think they did a damn good job. Those designers, I think they did really good job. But then also, space is a good place to store. So there are not much changes, right? So they last longer. And then we do have some issues, right? Like we have degradations, and some things have failed. But I think I give credit to designers. I think designers did a really good job. And then we have some redundancy. They try to make redundant units as much as possible. So one fails, and then we switch to the other units, and we have done that.
Okay, great. And one final, if I may, nobody asked about the golden record. I think the students are very interested in the software and the the details, but how will it be in 50,000 years if an alien should encounter Voyager? What will they find?
Well, Voyager, the golden record has instructions. I mean, there's a book written about golden record, actually. You can buy a book, but it has the instructions on the golden record. It shows the instruction on how to play it, and it kind of has a, well, you gotta know how to read it because I don't, but it shows the instruction and how to find Earth. And then it has the instruction how to play the record. So if they do play, if they figure out, if they are smart and able to figure out how to play, and they will hear songs, like some classical music and greetings, like hello, like 55 different languages, and it's kind of like a message in a bottle, it goes forever, and it means to somebody who finds and understands that it's a peaceful message from us.
That's right, and it was updated a little bit, right? I believe, and there was some messages that were added to Voyager's data banks.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. I don't know. But it was a idea from Carl Sagan.
Carl Sagan. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I saw a video. It was on the 40th anniversary of the Voyager mission, and they had a competition, and one person sent a message, just like a very short message, and they added it to the data bank of Voyager. We come in peace.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We're not alone. And it was Captain Kirk, William Shatner, helped deliver that message.
Yeah. We ran a contest for students to enter, and then we voted on which message represents us from Earth best. And I do remember that.
One final one, if I might. How do we go beyond Voyager with the exoplanet exploration? Do you think that they'll be sending, laser small spacecrafts by laser to exoplanets in the next 10 years?
Next 10 years, like if they're going to send it next 10 years, they should be working already, huh? Because it takes time to kind of like get the proposals, and they got to get a funding, and it takes a while.
Great. Well, I want to thank you for being part of this, and it's an honor and a real a thrill, because this project, this mission is the closest we have to reaching to the stars and sending our message out there. So thank you so much, and on behalf of me and my family, and well, basically since I was 12 years old.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, just to finalize, we have one copy, one ebook from the book that Bruce co-authored, To the Stars, Costa Rica at NASA. We're going to raffle it between the people who attended today. So yeah, the person who wins this, we're gonna contact them through email to give them the instructions in order to actually get their ebook. So yeah, we're gonna choose, and Daniel, you're the winner. So yeah, we're gonna contact Daniel in 5-15 minutes after this, and again, to Sun, thank you so much for being part of this. We are really excited, and it was an amazing experience. So
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Sun. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.